The raw love of it all, and really, especially now in my real adulthood, like, me and Zeke kind of from different different places, so we didn't see eye to eye on things all the time. But I think finding the common ground in the midst of all of that was some of I think kind of some of my highlights, and also just who we was associated with as a crew. Let it be known, motherfucking crew wasn't nothing to play with back then. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. There was a whole lot of crews right then, and our crew was Indigenous, Rubber Room, Spillane's, Children of Reality, Syllabus Illibus, and then Griffin and all them cats got down later too. From Griffin and Two and all of that whole crew with Woody and them, they came and got down. They was real young back then too. So, and that's another story how I even got with them. My life really go all over the place in Chicago for real. As a matter of fact, shit, I think I might have brought them young cats around because they used to come to my crib on 43rd and Greenwood. They was all little Southside cats that, didn't, kind of know some of the North Side situation, but they were so nice. I was like, man, these motherfuckers ain't nothing to play with. And the family just grew, man. We had a ball, you know what I'm saying? So the rawness of my man Fully G, Booney, Flawless, it was just like all of these cats that we was associated with, we would just wreck shop. And the click was thick, the skill were there. It was just the rawness of everybody's love for it, and the camaraderie amongst. It was just like, cats was jumping on, whether you was jumping on songs together and, from jumping on the mosh pit with Rubber and, all that, that whole flavor was, that's the highlight of Indigenous, is the rawness of the drive and the ambition associated with it, and just on it for the music. Not having to worry about, you had to worry about what was going on in life, of course, but you not as much, you was really just, like, music just was totally the consuming factor, period, you know what I'm saying? And the rawness of that moment, that time was, I think, the highlight. The other highlight of Indigenous is where the name Gravity came from. Gravity came through Indigenous, all right? I wasn't Gravity before I started getting down with the whole idea of Indigenous. Everybody from the block know me as Fat Daddy Boogie. Everybody know it on some old regular rap name, making up some shit like I go home and my niggas on the block, Fat Daddy Boogie, what's good? You know what I'm saying? So, but Gravity really came, that's the other thing about Indigenous. You just got to credit it. I wish I had a mural I drew on my bedroom wall in New York for Indigenous. I wish that motherfucker was still there and I had a picture of it. I just drew this big IT with the world and his character. I still remember that shit, but. On the solo tip, once I went solo and I end up, the way I got a deal was Andy C had redid Come On, and we did another song, Snakebite. Andy C was one of the first producers in Chicago I really started getting down with. Super incredibly talented brother. And so he went to LA to get a production deal. And when he went to LA to get the production deal, he played, he's playing songs from various artists that he was dealing with, and some of the stuff was me. And so the label was like, yo, who was that? He called me up like, yo, these cats in LA, they want to fly you out and see what the deal is. I'm like, bet. I go out there, we chop it up. I come on, but I had a great time. And the other thing, this is the same, during this, nope, I'm getting ready to fuck up, never mind. So I went out there, got the deal, start talking about the deal, came on back. And then news had kind of spread that shit was going down. So I finally got the deal. We signed the deal. Cool. News had spread I had a deal. I was either going to or coming out of a Fugees concert. And this young kid runs up to me and is like, yo, I heard you got a record deal. Yo, you should let me get some beats on your album, man. Yo, I was telling you I'm nice. I got skills. He's like, yo, my name is Kanye. Yo, you should just come to the car. Let me play some beats for you. I was like, all right, bet, cool. I go to the car, he pops in the cassette, fire, off the bat. I'm telling cats, that cat is, I know what they be saying on the news, but I'm telling you, the boy was a child prodigy way back then. I'm telling you. So he popped the tape and I'm like, oh my gosh, butter. First track I can remember is the Keep Moving track. I move rhymes like retail, make sure shit sell. I heard that shit, I was like, oh, he's snapping. Shayla G was in the car too, so Shayla G she know the real story because Shayla G was in the car with Ye that day when he used to drive a little Nissan joint. And so at the time, No ID had approached me about being featured on his album. This was before I had the deal. Because it won't make sense if I don't tell you this. So No ID had approached me about assisting on his album because he had a deal, I think, at the same time since Common had a deal. But because he was producing, the pressure wasn't on him. But he was nearing the end of his deal. He said, he got to get that album done. So he was like, yo, you've been making noise. I heard this, that, and the other. So I was, getting down with Dion. And then, so after I got the tape from Kanye, I was at Dion's crib one day. I was like, yo, you ever heard of this kid named Kanye? He was like, oh man, he be on me, man. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like he like kind of like bugaboo-ish a little something. Like, man, he be on me, man. Like, I was like, man, well, I don't know about all that, but listen to this tape, dude. And I popped that tape in for him. That motherfucker picked up the phone right there and was like, yo, man, I heard the tape. It's crazy, yo. You gotta, he was right on top of it. And, you see the rest is history. So the label was all over Ye's beats. I can't forget in my story also, Kevin Shakespeare Briggs. He's who produced the first version of Sex, who actually No ID ended up producing. And the only reason really though that No ID ended up producing it and Shakespeare didn't still produce it was because the original disc had got misplaced and we could never get the track back the way it was sitting right, but everybody that knows Kevin Shakespeare Briggs, Bills, and Scrubs was the one that did the first Sex. So, anyway, so, the rest is history. We recorded the first album, half in New York. You was there for part of that. Then the other half here in Chicago. And then via that, Ye end up signing, I think, with management with No ID and Peter Kang, who was No ID's manager at the time. And then that's when he went to Fat Cat and was responsible for a lot of music. But of course, Derek Angeletti and them was, that was their thing. But anyway, so that's really the Grav situation. I had a ball during the first album. During that album, it was definitely a ball. The little short Cali tour I did was some of the most fun that I had, man. I had like a Super Bowl during that time. But the album was like everybody's first published works. It was a really good album. It got a lot of good write-ups. I still have people today that be hitting me about that album all the time. So that's always good, you know what I'm saying? That's a good look to make that type of impression. And really, man, it really just an honor to have something, a piece of work that's, a part of hip-hop history in some way, shape, or form and associated with the things that are relevant right now.